Hello, I am Praxzy and I'm back with my review part of the 1080p 60fps capture card OPR-HD100 from the company OPR. Today I'm gonna compare it against the Avermedia Live Gamer HD, and I'm gonna compare them in 1080p with Avermedia going in 30fps and the OPR going in both 30 and 60. I'm gonna make the video in 3 sections. So it's gonna be, first of all, my setup and my software and how I make things work. Second of all is the experience I've had with the different capture cards, everything from installation, software and bugs. And the third part is when I actually show you video footage. That's when you sit down with popcorn and soda and just enjoy the show and get your own opinion on which one you prefer the most. So, into the first part, my setup. First of all, I use 2 computers. There is my gaming PC, and then I have a dedicated streaming machine. And that streaming machine is what is housing the capture card. And how I make this work is that I put the DVI from my gaming PC, of course, to my gaming monitor. And then I take HDMI towards the capture card in the other computer. And then I just use Windows screen resolution settings by right-clicking the desktop background and clone the image. It's easy as that. Both computers are running Windows 8.1. And to make this recording, I'm actually using XSplit version 2.4. And we're doing the local recordings with ultra-high settings to ensure it looks as good as it possibly can. And now, for the first capture card, I'm going to tell you about my experiences I've had with the OPR-HD100, and I'm gonna start with the installation, which I would rate about 4 of 10. And the reason why I give it a 4 is mainly the drivers, because the driver installation was a hell. But once you got the drivers installed, it actually works perfect, so that's why it gets a 4. So I'm gonna start by telling you about the installation in itself. The drivers for the OPR-HD100 is not Windows certified. So if you try to install the drivers right off the bat, you're going to get denied and nothing is going to happen. And if you go to the OPR's website, the OPR's website, they have guides of how to install the capture card on different operating systems, but not for Windows 8. That guide is included on the CD you get together with the capture card. No one told me that though, so it took me like a few hours to find it. And once you found the guide, you realize that you have to do some spooky steps to even be able to install the drivers, because you need to restart Windows and make sure that you can install uncertified drivers. And once you do that, the installation of the OPR works perfectly, and then it just works. XSplit, OBS, they find it, and it's for me a flawless experience. But having to turn off those settings, it was kind of spooky, and I was a bit afraid, but in the end I did it. It's a very expensive capture card and I wouldn't want to throw it away. So that's the installation with the drivers. Now you know, and now you know where to find the PDF if you have Windows 8. But as I mentioned, afterward it just works perfectly. No issues, no weird software. And yeah, talking about software, we're gonna go over to software and settings. It doesn't even have any software, not what I've seen. I've searched, but I found nothing. So it actually works with broadcasting programs like OBS and XSplit. They will identify the capture card, and you will find all the settings necessary by just selecting properties of the capture card. Gamma, saturation, everything is prepared and it looks awesome. It is so easy to understand. Even a child can manage the OPR and make it look good. And I can't say that about every other capture card. Avermedia. I just had to get that off my system. And as I mentioned, the settings are awesome and no software, so for me that works fine. I just wanted to work with XSplit and OBS, so I'm good. But out of the box, know that it will look a bit bleached. So when you do the first testing, it's going to be like I don't know, a bit misty, like a white hin, just on the entire screen. So what I did is that I decreased the gamma from 100 to 90, and I increased the saturation from 100 to 110. And then the image looked so much better, and I'm happy with it. So just make sure you have to tweak it a little in the beginning. And over to the bugs. I've actually had very few bugs. Only one bug. It was a big bug, but compared to other capture cards, it is manageable. It is. And that is the HDMI sound. If I try to get the OPR to work with my OBS, my sound has a 1 second delay, and that doesn't work. No, it's just, no, not gonna happen. And if I put it in XSplit, it's gonna be like a 0.2 second delay. It's still not gonna work, because if you play Counter-Strike and you hear someone shoot you, you know that you are already dead. So yeah, HDMI sound, no, not gonna work. I just have to get the sound over another way. So that's my entire experience with the OPR. Now over to the Avermedia Live Gamer HD, and I'm gonna start by explaining the installation of pain I had to go through. I would rate the installation 5 out of 10, so it's not as bad and as spooky as the OPR was. But it was definitely not perfect, and it was very, very weird and stupid. And the reason for that is because, at least for me, I needed the basic drivers to install the latest firmware that was necessary to install the latest drivers. It's a spiral of shit, and I have no clue why they would do such a thing. And I hope it's fixed today, because when I got it, I mean, I can't just understand how they could release such a weird thing, but they have, and I hope they suffer immensely. But after that, it actually works, so it's okay. And now over to the software and the settings that are included in the installation. I'm gonna start with the software, and I'm gonna tell you this instant, it sucks. The software is really hard to grasp. It's advanced bullshit, and it takes lots of effort and time to even be able to understand the slightest of them. OPR was easy as fuck, but this one, the opposite. It really is. You get tons of programs, and I tried to learn them all, but I actually threw them all away, except for the Rec Central, the main software that is included, because that one is necessary to have and know, but it's still a bit too hard than I'd like it to be. Yeah, and about what, the colors out of the box. Know this, that when the Avermedia comes out of the box, it actually does not come with a color range of 255. It is set to 235. Also one of the things I was wondering, why? Because I did some recordings and I thought the capture card was broken. I literally thought something was wrong because it looked crap. It looked awful. And afterwards, when I checked into Rec Central, I realized there was an option to increase the color range from 235 to 255. And yeah, after that, it looked very good. So make sure that if you get the Avermedia, change to 255. It is worth it. And now over to the last part, the worst part of Avermedia, the bugs. I would say this Avermedia card, the Live Gamer HD, has been a bug haven for me. I tried it in several computers and several operating systems, but it just acts up really, really bad. The main issue I have, which is a huge issue, is that if you clone the image like I do, which I explained in the beginning, the monitor is going to act like a 720p monitor. Even though you set the capture card, the gaming monitor, and the game to 1080p, it's still gonna act like it's 720p. Most mainstream and big games, they understand this. They see that the monitor wants to be 1080p, and they set the game to 1080p. It looks good for you, the recordings are fine, everything just works. But smaller games, they don't have this smart function. They don't. They see that the monitor looks like 720p, so they will downscale the game to 720p, and you can't even increase it to 1080p. It's impossible. I've had several issues where I tried to stream indie games, for example, The Swindle and others, I couldn't, because the game would force itself down to 720p because of this bug, and many games are not meant to be played at 720p. They aren't developed for 720p. I would say that's true for most new games. It just looks awful. Warframe is the same. 720p, it's unplayable. It's really, really bad. So that's the hugest bug I've had with it. And the second bug, which I found out recently, it was that at least with XSplit 2.4, it would not run 720p 60 FPS. I wanted this review to include 720p 60 FPS, but since I couldn't make it run properly, I just had to make it a 1080p review. So those things, those are my experiences with Avermedia Live, Avermedia Live Gamer HD. Now we come to the last part, the video footage of the capture cards. It's now up to you to get something nice to drink and something awesome to eat, and sit down and just enjoy the show and make your own opinion on which capture cards you think is the best. And don't forget, I have changed some settings. The OPR has an increased saturation from 100 to 110, and the gamma has been decreased from 100 to 90, and the Avermedia card has had its color extended from 235 to 255. And remember, if you like me and what I do, subscribe to the channel and also follow me on my Twitch, because I'm mainly a streamer at heart, and this is just my secondary occupation to reach out to more people. But for now, enjoy the footage, and yeah, I hope the food tastes alright.
Go, go, go! I am planting the bomb. What do you see? Bomb has been planted. I see them. Shot open fire. Only 2 men left. Only 1 man left. Terrorists win. We must move. Where is everyone? Where is everyone? I need help here. I need help. That makes 3 help. I am under fire. I need help here. At the middle. I need help. You are shooting me. 3 left. One still opposes us. Planting. Bomb has been planted. I am picked. What are you doing? Terrorists win. Take care of yourself. That makes 3 left. One left. against us. I do not see them anymore.
Terrorists win.
Forward! Throwing fire! Did you hear that? Only one man left. I am planting the bomb.
Bomb has been planted.
I need more men. What are you doing? What was that noise?
Terrorists win.
We will defeat the mercenaries.
Terrorists win.
Three mercenaries left. Two left.
Terrorists win.
We are in full control.
Terminal spotted. Upload me and prepare to defend. I'm in the terminal. This will take a moment. Still working on it. Continue to defend. Area completed. Move on. Terminal spotted. Upload me and prepare to defend. I'm in terminal. This will take a moment. Patch me for payloads and defend a number of locations while I break into the network. Be prepared for heavy resistance. I can't do this without you. Location reached. Drop me in and defend our position. I'm in tunnel. This will take a moment. Working on it. Continue to defend. Keep moving. This will only get more difficult. Get to a terminal and